Welcome to the 131st Charter Day convocation. To welcome us, it's my great pleasure to introduce the president of St. Francis College, Brendan J. Dugan, of the class of 1968.
Thank you, Tim. And welcome to everybody to our birthday party. This time of the year, in commemoration of our founding and the granting of our charter by the state of New York, we decide to have a series of activities that, for us, represents our birthday party. And in order to be a little different in the way we celebrate it, we want to first and foremost put the focus on our students. And the students are what we're all about. It's what we're here for. And the students that you will meet later on are very special people. The Scotus Honor Society is the highest award the college can grant to anyone. So believe me, they worked very hard for the distinction that will be noted and formalized here today. So first and foremost, congratulations to those students. We also have several distinguished honorees here today, and we congratulate them as well. St. Francis is more than a building with a bunch of classrooms in it. If that's all we were, I think we would have given up probably 100 years ago. There is a spirit in this place that you have to be around to recognize. And we take it very seriously that we have an obligation to the community and to one another in terms of the way we carry ourselves and the way we attempt to serve people. So at our birthday party, we decide each year to pick people who are distinguished members of our community, who seem to us to act similarly to the way we aspire to act in serving the community. So today you will meet also a distinguished educator. You will meet a distinguished business person who does something about job creation rather than just talk about it. We will meet the group that keeps us safe and keeps our society intact. I know I just left somebody out. And our keynote speaker, Frank DeRosa, is a distinguished member of the community, having served the Diocese of Brooklyn for decades at this point, and is now retired, and I think you'll enjoy hearing from him. So, the most important thing is to feel our warmth and our hospitality, and to meet some very interesting and very important people to what makes Brooklyn tick, and what makes Brooklyn what it is, and what has led to Brooklyn's resurgence, particularly in the last 15 or 20 years. So thanks for coming, and congratulations to all the honorees, and let the party begin.
So, as Brendan said, we'll start with the students. We'll start with the Scotus Honor Society induction. It's my pleasure to introduce the president of the Scotus Honor Society, David Lundberg. David came to St. Francis from his home in Sweden. He is a member and captain of the men's water polo team, leading the team to the NCAA Final Four 2 years in a row. You can clap about that. He is also a member of the swimming and the track teams, but he is much more than an athlete. As was noted last night, he has been named the college's Scholar Athlete of the Year. You can clap for that too. He has an overall GPA of 4.0. All right, but you can't clap every sentence. I'll warn you. He was awarded the prestigious Elite 89 Award at the NCAA Final Four for having the highest GPA among all the water polos participating in the NCAA championship. He actually won that honor twice. Yeah, I'd clap for that. Just this month, the NCAA awarded him their postgraduate scholarship to help him as he moves on to graduate school. An economics major, David was also a member of the Federal Reserve Challenge team that posted its best finish ever, making it through to the semifinals. He has also participated in several community events, namely the annual Littoral Society, the Jamaica Bay chapter, beach cleanup, as well as several SFC-sponsored sports clinics. We are proud that David has made St. Francis his home for the past 4 years. I'd also note that he has held an internship for the last year with the Clinton Foundation, but that is not nearly so prestigious as the fact that he was my student assistant. It's my pleasure to introduce David Lawnberg.
Thank you, Provost Julian, for that introduction. First of all, I would like to welcome the administrators, faculty, staff, honored guests, friends, family, students, and our inductees. Most of all, I would like to thank Dr. Jessica Martyr, the moderator of the Duns Scotus Honor Society. The Duns Scotus Honor Society has benefited much over the past year through her hard work and thoughtful advice. Unfortunately, Dr. Martyr is unable to attend the induction ceremony today due to unavoidable circumstances that she regrets a lot. I know she wishes she could be here. However, this gives me the great honor of introducing our former moderator, Dr. Green. Please clap. We are very grateful to Dr. Green for officiating today's ceremony. He was the moderator when I was inducted, and for many years before that. To this day, Dr. Green continues to offer his advice and mentorship to our society. Please join me in another applause for Dr. Green. Today is a very important day in the history of St. Francis College. This year is the 131st anniversary, celebrating the day the college was first granted its charter by the New York State legislature. During the ceremony, you will be introduced to some incredible members of our St. Francis community. We will honor them for their remarkable contributions to our society, to our community, I should say. Typically, the person in my role thanks their family. Unfortunately, my family is back in Sweden, so I will instead say a few words to you, my St. Francis family. This day should not only serve as a day when we remind what we have accomplished as an institution over the last 131 years. It should also serve as a day to reflect upon where we see the college in the years to come. Personally, I would like to see an institution that continues to welcome everybody. An institution where people from different ethnicities, religions, sexual orientations, and economic classes can come together as individuals and as community to grow and develop. An institution that stands above the inequalities that divides several other parts of our society. Let this place continue to be one where people can grow and develop. And in times of unrest, we, as a community, must serve as an example to others. I hope you agree with me, and I also hope that you take a few minutes today and reflect upon what you see to be the future of St. Francis College, our future. Now, for the moment you all have been waiting for, the induction. The Duns Scotus Honor Society was founded in 1935 and is named for the blessed John Duns Scotus. For St. Francis students, induction into the Duns Scotus Honor Society is the highest honor. Induction into the society is based on scholastic standing, participation in extracurricular activities, and evidence of a certain dedication to Franciscan spirit. Inductees will receive certificates and pins handed out by Dr. Francis Green, and red and blue tassels and cords presented by Dean Jose Rodriguez. So we'll start with our juniors. Chantal Manolas Chimbo is a business management major. Chantal is currently the vice president of the Economic Society. Prior to this, she was the secretary for 2 years. She has also contributed substantially to the development of the College Accounting Society. Our next inductee is Dragana Chigorsky. She comes from the city of Novi Bečej in the Republic of Serbia. Dragana is majoring in communications with a concentration in English. Throughout her time at the college, she has been a member and co-captain of the women's tennis team, a member of the choir, and a member of the Eastern European Club. She has also done a commendable job in assisting and tutoring disabled students. Stephanie Shireen Ferrier is a part of the BA/MA Psychology program. She has been contributing significantly to the Psychology Club, both as a member and its treasurer. Stephanie has also been a member of the Honors Club, been a peer counselor and a research assistant. Lisa Marie Geraci has been a member of the Education Society since her freshman year. She is currently serving as its president. Lisa is also a member of the Kappa Delta Pi International Honor Society, and she is majoring in childhood education with a concentration in biology. Catherine H. Hickman is a criminal justice major. Catherine has been a part of the Honors Court and is currently serving as its vice president. Since her first year at college, she has been a member of the college choir. Next year, Catherine will serve as the vice president of the Duns Scotus Honor Society. Phoebe Wajin Lee is a double major in accounting and information technology, and she is also pursuing a master's degree in accounting. This Hong Kong native founded the Asian Cultural Club and served as its president for 3 years. She is a member of the Accounting Society, the Photography Club, and the Fed Challenge team. This past year, she has served as the treasurer of the Student Government Association. Kelsey Papanikolaou is pursuing a Bachelor of Science and a Master's degree in accounting. She is a valuable member of the Make a Difference Club and the Accounting Society. As a freshman, she was a representative to the honors cohort. Kelsey has also contributed to our community by her many hours of work for the Office of Community Partnerships and Special Events. Taylor, I know you're excited, but we're going to say Liam first. He's not here. He's in Prague, studying abroad, so hold your horses. I'll get to you, don't worry. So our next inductee, as I said, he's studying abroad in Prague, Czech Republic, so he can't be with us today, but he still is going to be recognized at our ceremony. Liam Kendall-Visi is a double major in political science and history. He has been a member of the college water polo and swim teams for 3 years. Liam has been a key part of the team that went to the NCAA Final Four twice. He really was a key part of that team. I should also say that he's a part of the honors program, the Pi Sigma Alpha Society, the Phi Alpha Theta Society, and Liam has also served as the president of the St. Thomas More Pre-Law Society. Even though he's not here, I think we should clap for him. Taylor, you can start moving up. So our next inductee is Taylor Lynn Watson. She is pursuing a Bachelor of Science degree in Health Promotion and Sciences and a Bachelor's degree in Social Studies. BA, BS? I think you can applaud that. She is also a valuable member of our college women's basketball team that made it to the NCAA tournament this past season for the first time in college history. That's also worth a big round of applause. Taylor is also a member of the honors program Make a Difference Club and has spent many hours volunteering at different events within our community. Also, she is the incoming president of the Duns Scotus Honor Society. And now we're moving on to our seniors. Nicole T. Donatantonio is majoring in communications arts. She has served as the secretary of the Troopers and vice president of the Lambda Pi Eta Communications Honor Society. Nicole also founded the SFC production crew. Katie Ann Fox has been a 3-year captain and a 4-year starter on the women's basketball team that once again, for the first time in the college history, made it to the NCAA tournament just a month ago. I should say that she's also a member of the honors program and the Make a Difference Club. Katie has also worked with the Office of Community Partnerships and Special Events. Ashley Morgan McAvoy has been a 4-year member of the Honors Program, Honors Club, and Pre-Med Club. This past year, she has served as the president of the Pre-Med Club. Additionally, she has been a member of the CSPEC, Psychology Club, and Chemistry Club. Ashley is majoring in Health Promotions and Sciences. John Adrian Sundqvist comes from the beautiful Scandinavian country, Sweden. John came to St. Francis 2 years ago. Since then, he has served as the vice president and the president of the Economic Society. He was also a part of the Fed Challenge team this past fall. John is also the founder and president of the prestigious Scandinavian Society. That was all the students, and now we're moving on to our honorary inductees. The Scotus Honor Society is also proud to induct 2 honorary members today. Our first honorary inductee is Brother Jeffrey Clement, PhD, adjunct professor of the History Department. In 2013, he received his PhD in medieval history from Fordham University. Brother Jeffrey has taught at college since the fall of 2003. Since then, he has mentored and guided numerous students. He is also well known for always offering his assistance to any student at the college. I've had the opportunity myself to be in 2 of Brother Jeffrey's classes. And I can tell you that those 2 classes are 2 of the most inspiring classes I've had throughout my 4 years at this great institution. Our second honorary inductee is Alexandria M. Egler, Executive Assistant to the President and Adjunct Professor of the Religious Studies Department. Ms. Egler has served as the Executive Assistant to both Dr. Macchiarola and President Dugan. She has also served as the Executive Director of the College Franciscan Institute and moderator of the Franciscan Pilgrimage. Mrs. Egler is currently pursuing a PhD of Religion and Religious Education at Fordham University. Additionally, she is renowned for her inspiring teaching and work to ensure the college mission and vision are followed in the great tradition of the Franciscan Brothers. At this time of our ceremony, I invite all members of the Scotus Honor Society, past inductees, and this year's members to please rise. As is Scotus tradition, we will recite the Scotus pledge together. For those of you in the audience, the pledge is on the screen in front of you. For those of you sitting on the stage, the copy has been provided to you, for you, I should say. So, together we recite. Realizing the aims of Scotus and the responsibility of membership in a society under his protection, we will forever hold close the attributes linked with the name of our patron. In service, scholarship, and individual character, we will assume as our way of life, in church and in the state, the ideals evidenced in this life, namely, clarity of vision, innocence of mind, strictness of responsibility, and service to God. Congratulations to you all, and happy Charter Day.
Thank you, David. And also a special thank you to Dr. Frank Green, who tried to retire last year. We've only made him do 114 things this year. Thank you, Frank. It is now my pleasure to move on to the National Grid Scholarships and Internships. I get to introduce, at least for me, for the first time, one of my newest colleagues, Madeline Hanley, of the class of 1980, who is the new Chief Information Officer here at St. Francis College. She will present the National Grid Scholarships and Internships on behalf of SFC trustee Ken Daly of the class of 1988, who is currently the president of National Grid New York and a member of the St. Francis College Board of Trustees, as well as Lorraine Lynch of the class of 1991, who is vice president, U.S. Treasury of National Grid. Madeline?
Good afternoon. It's indeed a great honor to be here today and be part of this wonderful event and to award the National Grid Scholarship to these distinguished and deserving students. Besides this being the 10th anniversary of the scholarship program, this year is particularly special for me. I'll tell you why. The long-standing relationship between National Grid and St. Francis College is more than just one of proximity. Over the years, there have been hundreds upon hundreds of St. Francis graduates who have gone on to work for National Grid and its predecessor companies, Brooklyn Union Gas and Keyspan, and I know this because I'm one of them. When I graduated from St. Francis, I was fortunate enough to be offered a position at the Brooklyn Union Gas Company, which at the time was located right around the corner on Montague Street. I went on to have a fantastic career that spanned 34 years, during which I was offered numerous opportunities and held a variety of different roles. And now I find myself right back here on Remsen Street, where everything started for me, working for St. Francis. But that's not much of a surprise, because I've always considered St. Francis to be my home. My story is not so different from many others who have walked the halls here and who have sat in these seats and now have careers at National Grid. In fact, there are currently over 100 St. Francis graduates working in different positions at National Grid. One such alum, as Tim referenced, is Ken Daly, who's currently the regional president of National Grid and who's been instrumental in establishing this scholarship program. Through the years, Ken has always remembered where he's come from, and we at St. Francis are extremely lucky to have him as a close friend of the college. So without further ado, it's my honor and pleasure to present the National Grid Scholarships to the following recipients. Wanda Guaveres, Crystal Maldonado, and Festim Noka.
Next, I get to introduce Monsignor John Bracken, who is the administrator of St. Francis de Sales Parish in Belle Harbor and the director of patrimony for the Diocese of Brooklyn, as well as a member of the Board of Trustees here at St. Francis College and a great friend of the college. Monsignor Bracken.
Thank you, Tim, and good afternoon, everyone, and welcome, and congratulations to all the honorees today. On Charter Day, it is always the privilege of the college to recognize distinguished service, not only to St. Francis College, but we recognize distinguished leaders in our community. Today, we recognize a real son of Brooklyn. On a dreary fall day, Frank DeRosa shed a tear, for he heard the shot heard round the world. Bobby Thompson hit a home run, or Ralph Branca and the New York Giants won the baseball pennant. 60 years ago this year, Frank rejoiced with all of Brooklyn because his beloved bums beat the evil empire and finally brought a World Series championship back to Flatbush. Frank has a hard time even to this day in his heart forgiving Walter O'Malley for taking the Dodgers out to the West Coast. Frank is a man who understands that we are stewards of the many gifts that we have been given, and he embraces Francis's attitude of poverty, that the gifts we received are to be given away in service of others. Frank's service was closely connected for over 50 years with the Diocese of Brooklyn. He began as a writer for the beloved Brooklyn Tablet and rose to be the associate publisher. He was the director of communications for 3 of our bishops, Bishop Magavro, Bishop Daly, and Bishop DiMarzio. And for over 20 years, he was the Catholic host of Point of View on the program WWOR-TV. Frank also was very instrumental in the fact that every time the Holy Father comes to New York, he comes to the Diocese of Brooklyn first. You see, Kennedy Airport is within our diocese. And with the news media flocking from around the world, it was Frank's position to try to organize that mayhem. It was like herding cats, trying to bring the news media as they focused on the important visit of the Holy Father to the capital of the world, the city of New York. Frank also annually would host a communications day where he would bring the distinguished reporters and media from the New York City area to a luncheon and honor them for their distinguished service. Frank was always an honest broker. He was a channel of communication so that when events would take place in our city and an opinion of the church would be asked for, they knew that they would always get a straight answer from Frank DeRosa. Frank DeRosa has one small fault, and I hate to have to say it to you, but there's one small fault. Unfortunately, as a youth, a misguided youth, he went to the Jesuits at St. Peter's College instead of coming to the Franciscans here at St. Francis. But we're making up for it today. Before there was spell check on my computer, there was Frank DeRosa. His office and mine were next door to each other over 30 years ago. And any time I put something together, I would have to go to Frank first before publishing it. And Frank, in his nice way, would take a pencil out and begin to go through it and underline things and change things, reminding me that I had split a participle or I had changed tenses in the middle of a sentence. Frank is the wordsmith that I used. He would be able to take an idea and craft some words around it so that the idea was more understandable to those who would read it. So I'm very personally grateful for the long-term relationship that I have with Frank DeRosa going over 30 years. His contribution to the church, his contribution to the city of New York was recognized by the Holy Father. The Vatican awarded him the highest honor that can be awarded to a lay person in the church. Frank is known as a gentleman of His Holiness. Today we also call him a gentleman of St. Francis. And so for everything that he has done, everything that he continues to do, and everything that he will continue to, as a father, as a grandfather, as a loving spouse, as a faithful Christian, for all of these reasons and for so much more, the College of St. Francis is proud to confer on you, Frank, the degree of Doctor of Human Letters honoris causa. Thank you.
wasn't Carl. Oh, yeah. You get it right. It's such a quick wheel as we keep track. There you go. Great friend.
Wow. That's all I can say. I'm overwhelmed. I said that to my dear friend Tom Flood, one of the nicest persons you'll ever want to meet, when he called to say that I was being asked to be the keynote speaker as well as to receive an honorary degree. This is terrific. I didn't have to take an exam, no philosophy orals. I didn't have to face the Jesuits. I got a degree. This is wonderful. I'm so grateful. Nice to be among friends, old friends and new friends. Friends like President Brendan Dugan, who's been a stalwart in advancing the cause of this college for 7 or 8 years up till now. My dear friend Monsignor Bracken, we did work together. I was not that hard of an editor on him. He knew his grammar. Occasionally he misspelled a word, but he was good. He was very, very good. My old friend who calls me on my birthday every year, Dennis McDermott, he's old, reliable, a terrific guy, love the man. And again, as I said, Tom Flood, good old friends, and nice to be with them today. Nice to be with you new friends, especially you here as new members of the Duns Scotus Society. I didn't know if you heard it. When I came up here, there was a big sigh of relief that was in this audience. And it was from my dear and beautiful wife, Lillian, of 53 years, because I just had hip replacement surgery. And my physical therapist says, make sure you bring your cane, figuring it's a long walk from wherever I was sitting to this podium. But look where they put me. All I can tell you is that God is good. I'd like to say, I heard references to the St. Francis ladies basketball team. I was going to say this at the end, but why don't we say it now? My wish list, first, two items on the wish list. That next year, the men's basketball team, that last shot, will go up and go swish through the nets and on into the NCAA tournament. My second wish is that the University of Connecticut ladies basketball team will be elevated en masse to the WNBA so that our friends here on the St. Francis basketball team will have a shot at a championship next year. Blessed John Duns Scotus is not well known in the public consciousness, but this 13th century Franciscan priest's name and his reputation as a prominent philosopher and theologian are kept alive here at St. Francis College every single year, and especially on Charter Day. But he's not entirely forgotten, because just a few weeks ago, an article in America magazine, yes, by the Jesuits, but an article in America magazine noted that famous Jesuit poet Gerard Manley Hopkins considered Duns Scotus as his intellectual hero. High words. And I'm reminded, too, that Pope John Paul once described him as an example of intelligence and holiness for the modern world. In truth, today, about the only time you'll see the word SCOTUS in a newspaper is as an acronym for Supreme Court of the United States. But that's the world's loss. I'm deeply honored to be invited here at St. Francis Charter Day, which celebrates scholarship and leadership, and I'm humbled and deeply grateful for the invitation from President Dugan and the Board of Trustees, with John Tully as the president, and all of those who made this possible. This is a very, very special day for me. I'll tell you why. I'm here before us, the beautiful members of the new members of the Duns Scotus Honor Society with a great future ahead of them. They're juniors or they're seniors, but that future is very bright because they've accomplished so much already in their young lives. I see my professional career receding in the rearview mirror. I've been retired 6 years, and you kind of forget where you were in the world. But these people make me alive, and I'm so happy to be energized by what you've done, what you've accomplished, what you will accomplish in the future, and to be in your presence. This is a beautiful day. It's May 1st. It's the feast of St. Joseph the Worker. We kind of celebrate the worker, especially here at this college. It's a day that honors the beginning of the month of May, the month of Mary. Some of you remember May devotions and crowning of the Blessed Mother. And it just, you feel May 1st, it's spring. Spring is here. Life is turning for the better. We've really had a brutal winter, and all the best is ahead of us. If I could move a little bit from the sublime to the equine, tomorrow is Derby Day. And that's a big celebration in parts of the country. People are going to be looking at the TV tomorrow night around 6 o'clock for about 3 minutes to see who wins that race. But I'm reminded of a story of the great late senator from Kentucky, Wendell Ford. Incidentally, one of my daughters was an intern for him when she was in college. And it was Derby Day, and he came to Churchill Downs with 125,000 excited fans, and he didn't have a seat. And he's walking through the field there, and he sees an empty seat. And he walks up, there's a box, and there's an empty seat and a lady sitting there with the big hat and the racing form. And he says, "Excuse me, is that seat taken?" And she said, "Oh no, that belonged to my husband, and he passed away." He said, "Oh, I'm sorry." He said, "Why didn't you offer it to a family member?" She says, "Well, I did, but they're all at the funeral." Brooklyn's working class people were the reason two Franciscan brothers were sent from Ireland in 1859 with a mandate to help educate them. And today, 156 years later, I'd like to take a couple of minutes to draw your attention to two people, sons of Brooklyn's working people, who walked these halls and availed themselves of all the scholarship and leadership potential this great school had to offer them. One name you'll recognize right away. The other one you ought to know a little about. When I worked in the editorial department of the Tablet or Diocesan newspaper in the 21st floor offices of the Brooklyn Ivory Tower, known as One Hanson Place, back in the early 60s, I became aware of this bright, feisty St. Francis College student who had a developed point of view on events going on in the world. His viewpoints didn't always jibe with the opinions and positions that appeared on the Tablet's editorial page, and he expressed his views vigorously but respectfully. In 1962, at a setting like this one today, Frank Macurola, a senior, sat there just like yourselves as a new member of the Duns Scotus Society, and it was clear that he loved his school and the Franciscan brothers and dedicated lay faculty who educated him. As the years drew by after his graduation, I lost track of his academic and professional advancement, but by the 70s, his name was recorded often enough in the papers that you could follow his career arc quite easily. Most noteworthy to me were his 5 years as chancellor of the sprawling, over 1 million student New York City public school system. He was creative, he was innovative, he was committed. During his time, exam scores went up and student classroom disruption went down. No doubt, drawing on the moral and human values he found at St. Francis, he introduced a curriculum guide to show students how to respect others and to know right from wrong. He made an impact, and he had an impressive run. He went on to success in other areas of public affairs and life, other high-pressure city posts following his times as school's chancellor, too numerous to list them here, before he returned to his roots here at St. Francis, 12 years as the first lay president and 4 more as chancellor. When Frank Macurola died much too soon, a little over 2 years ago, the New York Times described him as one of the most effective chancellors in the past half-century. Mayor Ed Koch, you remember Mayor Koch, at one time called him the standard of what a chancellor should be. But with all his accomplishments in public life, there was a part of him that stood out above all his many wonderful qualities: his faith. The religious and spiritual underpinnings of this man, nurtured at St. Francis, guided him all his life. He was a man of prayer, taking time 3 times a day to talk with God. He tried never to miss the chance to go on retreat at a Trappist monastery. It's said that he epitomized the Franciscan spirit. Philip Harris, whom I remember as once being here on the as an administrator here at St. Francis, asked Frank what his goal was in life. Was it to amass great wealth? Was it to take pleasure in the public's esteem? Was it to continue to hear about his many accomplishments? No. The answer he gave was simple, yet profound. He said, it's to become a saint. How often do you hear an answer like that in this age of celebrity and narcissism? That's what set him apart. This man who once sat, like you, as a Duns Scotus scholar. He remained true to the society's call for scholarship and character. But above all, he was committed to his faith. It would be hard for you to find a better role model to inspire your future development. Like Frank Macurola, it would be good to remember your roots. I mentioned another person I'd like to single out. About a decade ago, Al DeGuido, another Terrier graduate of class of 1978, had a life-changing experience. You may possibly know his name if you attended a workshop he gave here a while back on how to develop entrepreneurial skills. DeGuido has been the CEO of several interactive marketing companies. He's considered a visionary in the field of interactive marketing. When it comes to new digital technology and its uses, Al is a go-to guy for the media. He's been on CNN, Fox Business Network, CNBC. He's been interviewed by Businessweek, the New York Times, U.S. News and World Report, and other media outlets. Clearly, he has made his mark when it comes to social media and other technologies. But about a decade ago, he was sort of knocked off his horse, something like St. Paul. Al's a big football Giants fan. One day, a friend of his said, there's a charity event going on in New Jersey, and a lot of the old Giants are going to be there. Why don't we go to it? He said, you mean people like Phil Simms? He said, yeah, people like Phil Simms. Okay, let's go and let's have some fun. So off they went. During the evening's program, a couple of mothers told heart-wrenching stories about their experiences when sudden emergencies had wiped out their families out financially. How that without outside help from charitable groups, they would have been unable, for example, to provide toys for their kids at holidays. Their sad stories hit hard on Al. On the ride home, thinking about what those mothers had suffered, he said to himself, what if that were me? Suppose that happened to me and my kids. When he got home, he told the story to his wife and said, we have to do something. She said, okay, but being the practical wife, she said, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. He said, yeah, I understand, but let's talk about it. This is what developed. Al and his wife began hosting parties with friends, asking them to bring a toy or another gift to be given to needy kids. Like Topsy, the party idea grew. It became, over the years, a year-round effort of relentless events sponsored under the banner of Al's Angels. Hundreds of volunteers were recruited. Today, they provide meals for 4,000 families and collect toys and gifts for 6,000 kids. They are often distributed through well-known charities like Tomorrow's Children. Al says his faith has motivated him, nurtured through his Catholic education, certainly including his 4 years at St. Francis College. He said Pope John Paul's words, "Be not afraid," encourage him when he looks for new ways to help kids, especially if they have cancer, rare blood diseases, are victims of domestic violence, and things like that. He said he doesn't mind begging for funds to help these kids. He told Brother Gregory Cellini in a radio interview about someone telling Mother Teresa that whatever she did for the poor is just a drop in the bucket, considering all the poverty that there is. And she said, "Every drop I put in the bucket is one less for someone else to do." I don't know if Al was a member of Duns Scotus, but he carries out, through Al's Angels, the Society's call to provide service. I thought about these two individuals, Frank Macchiarolo and Al DeGuido, when Thomas Flood asked me to say a few words today. I thought too about the Franciscan brothers, the prescient Franciscan brothers, coming from Ireland to educate Brooklyn's working people. Here we have Frank, whose father was a New York City sanitation man, and Al, whose father was a New York City cop. And I thought of the Duns Scotus Pledge, focusing on service, scholarship, and character, and how these two St. Francis grads personified those ideals. As I come to a close, I know that each of you, the new Duns Scotus inductees, will chart your own course when you leave St. Francis. But you've begun well. You've taken on your responsibilities exemplified in the Society's pledge. And I know that as the years go on, like Frank and Al, you'll have your own inspiring stories to tell. I thank you again for inviting me, for allowing me to be with you on this wonderful day, and I say, God bless you all.
Thank you, Mr. DeRosa. Excuse me, Dr. DeRosa. At least for today. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Richard Giaquinto, my colleague, professor and chairman of the Department of Education here at St. Francis, who will introduce our next honorary degree recipient.
I'm going to reference Dr. Macchiarolo, who was just referenced a few minutes ago. I know he's looking down today, smiling, because today we are recognizing and honoring a teacher. So let's give her a round of applause. How often do teachers get recognized for the work that they do every day in the schools of this great country? Let me read to you the bio that my dear friend gave me several days ago, and I thank him for this honor of really presenting to you someone who is really special. It is my pleasure and great honor to introduce Madeline T. Scotto, who last October turned 100 years young. Born in 1914, Madeline moved as a little girl to a home she lived in for over 95 years across the street from St. Ephrem's Church. She graduated in the first class that had completed St. Ephrem's for the full 8th year term. She went on to St. Xavier High School and graduated from what was known then as St. Joseph's College for Women. She was married in St. Ephrem's Church and raised her family there. In 1960, she started teaching, a magic word, at St. Ephrem in what was to be a temporary position and which grew into a career of over 40 years at that school. Mrs. Scotto taught third graders and all of the students until the curriculum became departmentalized. At that time, her focus was on mathematics. As an admirer, educator, and mentor, Mrs. Scotto regularly conducted workshops for other teachers on the diocesan level and worked diligently with selected students to prepare them for mathematics competitions. We can use you today. After her so-called retirement in 1997, which lasted approximately 2 weeks, Mrs. Scotto returned as a volunteer to continue to train students in all grades for the mental math bees. Her hard work and those of her students have produced winners in the local school competitions and in broader Brooklyn, Queens, math bees. More recently, she has instituted the SAVE program at St. Ephrem to instill an outstanding in her student participants the importance of earning money and saving it wisely and sharing it with some of the proceeds for those who are less fortunate. In essence, she teaches her students to act the Franciscan way from a very young age. Throughout her career at St. Ephrem, she has received numerous honors, awards, including the Florence Bukes Mathematics Teachers Award, the Elizabeth Seton Award, and the Distinguished Graduate Award of the National Catholic Endowment Association. Here's a beauty, which I love. Nomination to the National Teachers of the Year Award. In 2009, she was awarded the Pro Ecclesia et Boniface, the highest honor to be bestowed on a lay person by the Pope. Her proudest moment, however, was her commencement address, truly a great teacher, to the graduating class of St. Ephrem School on the 80th anniversary of her own graduation. Madeline was married to the late Francis A. Scotto for 55 years and is the proud mother of, 2 sons, 3 daughters. She has 9 beloved grandchildren, and listen to this, 16 great-grandchildren. A true source of inspiration to her students and teachers in the city. Her family, her colleagues, and all those at St. Ephrem, St. Francis College is pleased and proud to present the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa, to the great teacher, Mrs. Madeline Scotto.
Oh!
Thank you, Mrs. Scotto and Dr. Giaquinto. Next, the presentation of the St. Francis College Entrepreneurship Award. I get to introduce Robert Wu, another colleague, the director of the Center for Entrepreneurship here at St. Francis College, as well as assistant professor of accounting and business law. Robert?
Good afternoon, everybody. It is my absolute pleasure to introduce the recipient of the second annual Entrepreneurship Award, Andrew H. Kimball. In August of 2013, Andrew Kimball joined Industry City as CEO, directing the redevelopment of the long underutilized 6 million square foot industrial facility in the Sunset Park area of Brooklyn. In March of 2015, Industry City launched a 12-year, $1 billion redevelopment that will create 20,000 jobs through a unique mixed-use blend of innovation economy and modern manufacturing, retail, and academic uses. From 2005 to 2013, Mr. Kimball served as president and CEO of the Brooklyn Navy Yard, overseeing the transformation of the 300-acre former naval shipbuilding facility into a national model for the creation of innovation economy jobs and sustainability. Prior to his Navy Yard appointment, Mr. Kimball served as Director of Operations for NYC 2012, the privately funded bid to bring the 2012 Olympics to New York City, and as Vice President of the New York Public Library. He holds a Bachelor of Arts from Hamilton College and is a graduate of the Coro Public Affairs Fellowship Program. Mr. Kimball lives in Park Slope, Brooklyn, with his wife Sarah Williams and 2 children, and he serves on the boards of the Citizens Budget Commission, Prospect Park Alliance, the Executive Committee, and the Coro New York Leadership Center Vice Chair. For all these reasons, St. Francis College is proud to present the 2nd Annual Entrepreneurship Award to Andrew Kimball, and at this time, I invite the Center Chairman, Dr. Dennis Anderson, and the Chair of the Advisory Board of the Center for Entrepreneurship, Dr. Lou Pastina, St. Francis College, Class of 1979, to join me in the presentation.
Next, the presentation of the St. Clair Medals, which are the college's medals for service. I am pleased to welcome to the stage Robert Oliva, class of 2004, the Director of Community Partnerships, Special Events, and Campus Security.
Thank you, Provost Houlihan. St. Francis College is blessed to have an incredible working relationship with the 8-4 precinct of the New York City Police Department, especially the Community Affairs Unit. It is my pleasure to welcome today's St. Clair Medal of Service recipients, Detective Salvatore Ferrante and Detective Frederick Mitchell, 2 individuals truly committed to keeping St. Francis College and the Brooklyn Heights community safe each and every day. Let's give them a round of applause. Sal and Freddie, as they are affectionately called by friends and family, are well known in the 84th Precinct for their good cheer, level-headedness, and waggish sense of humor. They have worked in community affairs in the 84th Precinct for years, but have also spent considerable time working on the streets. They have over 200 arrests in their combined careers. Their extensive background is why they're so valuable to the community and precinct command. They have both been honored as Cops of the Month and praised by their commanding officers and senior officials of the NYPD. A previous commanding officer of the precinct said in a recent article that Sal and Freddie are about the best he's seen. I would go one step further and tell you all that they are the best we've seen. We pay tribute to Sal and Freddie for going above and beyond for the SFC community. Whenever there is an incident on campus, they are always the first to be contacted for sound advice. Not only do they offer advice, but they also come down to school to see if we need anything, something they don't need to do. Whenever there is an incident in the neighborhood that may have an impact on our students, Sal and Freddie make sure they contact the college to make sure every member of our community is safe. From community gatherings to political debates to athletic events, Sal and Freddie always provide the necessary support to create a safe and secure environment. And the best part is their thorough follow-up to make sure everything was done with respect and professionalism. During the wake and funeral for Dr. Frank Macchiarola, which took place on campus, Sal and Freddie helped create an environment that brought an ease and calmness to the entire Macchiarola family during an extremely difficult time in their life. They don't just do their job, they do their job embodying the Franciscan spirit that is ever present on our campus. For all of these reasons and many more, on behalf of the entire St. Francis College community, it is my honor and privilege to present the St. Clair Medal of Service to two of New York's finest, Detective Salvatore Ferrante and Detective Frederick Mitchell. On December 20th, 2014, the 84th Precinct, New York City, and the entire country lost two heroes, first grade detective Wenjan Liu and first grade detective Rafael Ramos. St. Francis College has kept detectives Liu and Ramos in our prayers for the past 132 days, and I can assure you those prayers will continue forever. Captain Sergio Senta, commanding officer of the 84th Precinct, has guided his command gracefully and steadfastly through a very difficult time. He's a true leader who is truly committed to serving the community with courtesy, professionalism, and respect. The 84th Precinct is very lucky to have him as their boss. Today, to pay tribute to Detectives Liu and Ramos, Captain Senta, and the entire command, we present a commemorative plaque that we hope is displayed prominently at the precinct on Gold Street. The plaque reads, St. Francis College proudly recognizes the 84th Precinct of the New York City Police Department for selflessly serving and compassionately protecting our students, faculty, and staff in the spirit of our patron saint, Francis of Assisi. May God continue to bless and watch over you, giving you the strength and courage to enforce all that is right. St. Francis is pleased and proud to call upon Captain Sergio Senta to receive this honor on behalf of the 84th Precinct.
Service awards. First up, the awards for faculty. The Pax et Bonum Medal, which was instituted by the Board of Trustees and named for one of the earliest greetings of St. Francis of Assisi. The medal recognizes and honors members of the faculty who have completed 15 or 25 years of dedicated and loyal service here at St. Francis. A driving force in the life of St. Francis of Assisi and his followers for more than 700 years, peace and goodness is a simple yet meaningful expression of the objective of Franciscan educators. The bestowal of this Medal of Franciscan Education represents the highest praise and tribute of the St. Francis College community and assures a continuing extension of peace and goodness at the college. Mr. Dugan.
Yes, sir.
You go over there. First, please join me in congratulating Frank Desposito, Adjunct Instructor of Information Technology. Also with 15 years of service, Dr. Jennifer M. Lancaster, Associate Professor and Chair of Psychology. Jennifer has also served for a number of years as the faculty athletic representative. Next, someone who was mentioned earlier by David Lundberg, Dr. Jaskaran Mather, who is the director of our program in professional studies, as well as associate professor of sociology in the Department of Sociology and Criminal Justice. Dr. Mather cannot be with us this afternoon. Receiving the award on her behalf is our new college registrar, Sue Wiseman. You do have to give Jaskaran the check. Next, this person has not been here 15 years. It's just not possible. I feel like I just met her, even though we've worked together for this long. Dr. Sandra Westcott, Director of Assessment, Associate Professor of Information Technology. And unfortunately also not unable to be with us today. Yeah, I know, not unable. I'm sorry. It's getting late. Unfortunately unable to be with us today, Brother Edward Wesley, OSF PhD in class of 68, who has taught here at the college for 25 years. And now you have to stay. I'm giving your award now. It's the President's Award, instituted in 1972 to honor non-instructional personnel. The award recognizes dedicated and loyal service by members of the administration and staff who've completed 15 and 25 years of loyal and preeminent service at St. Francis. The bestowal of the award acknowledges accumulated service, interrupted or not, and pays tribute to the significant contribution that non-instructional personnel make to the college. The President's Award is the highest service honor administration and staff members can receive, and with it comes the college community's grateful appreciation. So, for 15 years of service, Ghazala Afsal, ESL specialist and tutor, academic enhancement. It probably just has Ghazala written on it. She only goes by one name. And next, Ramona Caramico, class of 11. Assistant Director of Admissions. Okay, and Simone and Mary, get the cameras ready. Stephen L. Catalano, Director of Institutional Research. Please congratulate Mr. Catalano. He's getting married this summer. Donna M. DeSiena, Secretary to the Director of Alumni Relations. The chairman has offered you a special reward for serving under Dennis. Unfortunately not with us, Angel Tavares, the Director of Operations in Facilities Management. And someone you met earlier, Alexandria M. Egler, the Executive Assistant to the President, Adjunct Professor, Religious Studies. Also not President Ronald Gannulin, the Assistant Men's Basketball Coach. Also, unfortunately not present, Matthew J. Sherwin, who is a tutor in the Academic Enhancement Department. And finally, Dennis J. McDermott, class of 74. So, please join me in welcoming once again Brother William A. Boslett, the class of 1970, Superior General of the Franciscan Brothers of Brooklyn, and a trustee of the St. Francis College.
For the benediction, I would like you to join me in reflecting on a prayer that I think most of you will be familiar with, the Peace Prayer of St. Francis. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. And where there is sadness, joy. O divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. Amen.